Here's a interesting article that I came across. It's very timely as we're entering into a new decade, leaving the old and entering the new. It's very interesting how not only will they be looking to kick the can further down the road of prolonging the inevitable realization of a lack of their ability to pay off all the promises and all the schemes and hoax and all the things they put together to string this great American economy along. But yet it looks like, according to the article here, reform or restructuring of our current retirement paradigm will incorporate moving the bar a little bit. And so typically our age was, early 60s. Now it says here why retiring at 65 could become a thing of the past. And it looks like this is one of many nations around the world that's currently looking to move the bar a little bit longer, prolonging the idea of people continuing to wake up, go places they don't want to be, do things they don't want to do, all with the idea of one day being able to remove themselves from their working life and enter into a day of retirement where they get to then enjoy the latter part of their lives. But I believe that this upcoming decade, there'll be a lot of promises broken of that nature. So that being the case, I thought I would thumb through this because we have the situation in France, which is tied into things like this. We have events down in Chile, which is due to the retirement aspect as well. So all the nations around the world, especially a lot of places where there's social rest already, has a lot to do with the fact that the older population haven't been receiving the promises they've been expected. So give you an idea what's going on here. I'll leave it down below for you to read more for yourself. But it says a majority of workers say that they plan to stop working after the age of 65 or never retire at all. It says while 65 is still the age most workers around the world say they plan to quit, that default age is creeping up. And then it says countries such as the U.S., the Netherlands, France, and Spain are all moving towards another age of 67. And so it's no coincidence that the U.S. will be considering the same thing. But it says for more evidence, just look at the proposals to move up the full retirement age of Social Security. Even the idea upsets advocates who want to see the program expanded and individuals receiving benefits. It says outside the U.S., says French citizens have taken to the streets in protest of it moving from 62 up to 64. So they're behind the curve a little bit. It says most workers do not want to be told they have to work longer was what it boiled down to. So what I found interesting, a couple of different graphs here. I'll just put them on the screen here, comment on them and let you do a dive deeper for yourself. But it says a majority of workers, 54%, said they expect to stop working sometime after age 65 or never at all. And so it gives you a nice little visual aid of different age groups according to where they anticipate and where they would like to and where they more than likely will have to settle off at whether or not they work or not. It says, meanwhile, just 24% said they plan to retire at 65. 22% said they plan on retiring earlier. And then we have a couple people in the financial realm sharing their thoughts on this. Scroll down more. It says, U.S. workers may also be driven to work longer for another reason, concerns about the future of Social Security. And so just to stop right there, I've been talking about retirement concept and the very hoax that it is in and of itself, and the fact that retirement was introduced, but yet it was never taken in consideration these current days and times that we're in where monetary policy drives everything. So with the all-time high in stock markets, and as of today, looks like there's a little bit of a dip and things of that nature, but monetary policy influences our world too much for there to be any type of financial security that would allow a person to be able to park funds in anything and allow it to grow naturally. Everything from this point on will be artificially increased, or once the spigot is cut off, it will be forced to or subject to the results of what a market off of financial steroids look like, which is unfortunately going to be a correction. And this next correction, due to the fact it's been prolonged for an entire decade, to me spells that it'll be at least another half of a decade to a decade for there to be any type of real recovery if that was to take place. And so just more numbers here about the age of retirement. But yet for the younger generation that might be watching this or listen to this now, if you are witnessing what's going on now with the moving of the bar, along with the kicking of the can down the road when it comes to expansion of our debt, just to pay the mere interest on our debt, nevertheless to ever touch the principal, there will be no way of actually living up to the millions upon millions of promises within this country. Nevertheless, all the billions of promises around this planet, all tied into the same scheme of telling people, give us your best up front and we'll take care of you at the end. That very nature, that very model is going to be exposed this decade as a hoax, and more people around the world are going to find out about it. But I thought I would share my thoughts real quick. Leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts on this? Is this the beginning of a decade that exposed the world for what it really has become, which is a big hoax in and of itself? Curious to find out. And also, silver, get your weight up right now. No better time than right now, heading to a next decade. RTD Scary George rounds, 1 ounce, 5 ounce, available for you. Talk to you later.